you know, I guess we can officially continue on to FPX IG conversation. Who do teams scrim at this point? Who do teams scrim at this point? Ask it one more time and then I'll answer it. What is probability SKT will beat G2? Like 30%, 35%? So let's start with FPX. FPX. So FPX, fun plus. So FPX is a very interesting team because they had a very good quarterfinals. Game 1. So it was a very, very nice execution here. They, you know, the whole game plan of FPX. Let me dissect it for you. Doing Doinby things. Pick Rise early and be happy. This is they know the answers from enemy team is going to be Twisted Fate and Cassio, and honestly, I think Rise can do fine in both matchups. I don't think Cassio is some monster counter to the champion. Tian honestly gave a lot of space for Doinby to push and roam at the right times. Tian had an absolute monster performance. Roxa honestly looked worse in this best of 5 than he did against G2 in the finals. So with that being said, you know, Tian had a crazy good performance. Very good synergy with Doinby. They managed to find roam timings and he just completely suffocated the shit out of Broxa. FPX played a very good vision game. They impacted the map at the right times. They found good dives. And FPX, every game, they did everything in their power to make sure that they have a bot lane draft that allows them to push. Because they knew as long as they win out, if they can play mid into bottom every game, Fnatic is not going to do anything. And this was Fnatic's biggest weakness coming in. This was Fnatic's biggest weakness coming in. You can say Broxa played bad however much you want, but Fnatic know only one way to play, and that is through bottom. They didn't have success playing through anywhere else. And with Gragas, GP ban, first pick Xayah, Fnatic had no solution. They tried to pick the comfort and it just didn't work. So already now, you know, this was a nail in the coffin. First game, Fnatic pull out full stops, TF, Yuumi Garen, and they lose. And FPX's game plan was the entire game, 2v2 mid into bottom, make sure we have bottom that pushes. If we can maintain bottom river control, Fnatic is gonna do nothing, and that was what happened. Elise didn't do anything, when in reality, in this game, Rengar, solo kill Camille, gets level 1 kill, and Elise gets a start on Tian, it gives him big tempo advantage. So here, the moment Camille dies 1v1, okay guys, we shift our plan. We're gonna dive top, we're gonna kill Camille, we're gonna make this Rengar be monster fed and push Camille out of the game completely. Didn't fucking happen because Fnatic knew only how to play one way. Disaster. Rise into TF. Very happy to play Rise into TF. And, you know, Fnatic's TF was scary, but how much did they really practice it during the World Championship? They expected to be banned. I expected to be banned. And now here, with confidence, they picked it into it, and they have, honestly, good picks into TF. Xayah Rakan, they have Rise. Good prep here. So here, Wipo, first blood. Can snowball, nothing happened. So FPX's plan still worked because the read on Fnatic was really, really good, really, really solid. Second game, Gnar into GP, Gimgoon survived, doesn't matter. Mid-bottom matchup again, Kai'Sa Alistar, you know, Varustam wins this matchup. Varustam wins this matchup. This particular game, became a disaster very, very fast. Hedi-san got ganked, and then all of a sudden he just kept inting. They couldn't find a play through bottom. They tried to force very hard, but it just went to shit. So once again, this time around, the change-up was that they played through bottom more and let Doombi play scale in the mid lane. So the plan was still the same. Pick something top that just scales and can teamfight, and then just make sure that you can push bottom at all times. Push bottom. So here, once again, they got completely dissected and smashed. Here, Ryze was banned. Still dissected and smashed. This game, Fnatic had the Veigar, and then the Lucian pick was questionable, but they wanted to follow the same trend, find a bot lane that pushes. But this time around, Broxa and Hilly and Reckless managed to find kills. They were killing Lucian. They were finding kills on Lucian. They were finding ways to snowball through bottom. And that was the big upside of this game. They managed to play their way. They managed to play through bottom. They managed to find leads, right? They managed to play the good old Fnatic way, right? It is very difficult for a jungler to play in scenarios like this when your team is so one-dimensional. And if you don't feel that dimension of play, you're going to look a lot worse. So you have to give Broxa some slack here. His issue is that he has small champion pool and that he cannot play the game with his team in multiple ways. That's the problem. So here, Fnatic recipe worked. They had Ornn in top lane against Renekton, worked out very good. And then, you know, the Lee and the Kaiser Ali bottom, they managed to find a couple of kills. They snowballed into mid game. It looked like a classic Fnatic game. They got to play to the strengths. Game 4, the change up here was that they just straight up first pick Gragas. First pick Gragas, changed the Gragas ban to Veigar. Fnatic were forced to ban Xayah because they had no answer to it. And then they picked Varus Tam early. Varus Tam gave them that bot lane that pushes, and the game was over after that. And on top of that, Fnatic, you know, played... you know, I'm summarizing the game in a very simple manner, but I think FPX found the drafts and found a way to play against Fnatic specifically. I think that helped a lot because Fnatic had only one avenue of pressure, and I think that gives FPX a lot of comfort because I think FPX looks good when they get to execute on what they want to do, you know? And I think they look a lot worse when, for example, they get attacked in lane, when something falls apart, when there's something unexpected that pushes them. For example, you know, the big difference here in the matchup against FPX, against IG, is that in the top lane, you're playing against the Shy. Gimgun was having trouble against Bwipo already. And he's gonna play against the Shy. That makes your plans much harder. I cannot imagine a world where FPX are like, okay, we're going to do our best to nullify top lane presence. I don't think that is going to work. I think IG is too advanced when it comes to how they gain advantages on top lane and how Rookie plays on mid lane. I think Rookie, his presence in lane is so much bigger and wider than it is than Nemesis. Rookie takes up a lot of space. He takes the space that he can. And the biggest question mark always for IG is Ning. But I think that IG with Rookie and IG and Rookie and the Shy are just so valuable as players that it's going to be enough to make the difference against FPX. I think FPX haven't had some crazy lane performance, but I think the reason I am favoring IG in this matchup is because it all comes down to Jackie Love's performance and Ning's performance. And when you're in a position where you're like, oh, okay, we're going to win against you because these two guys are going to underperform, I don't think that's such a good bet, because even at last year's Worlds, Ning was getting better. And Jackie Love, I want to talk about Jackie Love because he's super exciting as a player, because mechanically I think he's one of the best players in the world. It's just that his decision making is quite off. Many times he walks up too far, and you can argue that this is a part of mechanics, but I think the actual mechanical part of how you move, how you position yourself in fights when they start, that is something that Jackie Love does very well. But sometimes he positions himself in such a shit position before the fight start that you could argue that this is a part of mechanics. But my point is, you stick a gun to his head and he's going to make the most out of that situation. Sometimes he TPs into the enemy. Sometimes he TPs into the enemy and dies. IG is like on another level mechanically than all other teams. I think that's fair. Honestly, Jackie Love, Rookie, and the Shy on a mechanical level are nuts. It's really, really crazy how good they are on a mechanical level. Decision making wise and how they pressurize the team, probably the weakest out of all these teams. I think IG would destroy SK Telecom. And, because I think when it comes to team fighting, IG is a monster. IG is a monster, and I don't think SKT can do anything creative enough to fuck with IG. So the biggest weakness of IG to me is the fact that they are very scattered in the way they play. You expect them to gain advantages through the lanes, which in a lot of cases for IG works. Their jungler is not accomplishing so much, Baolan is not pressuring the map so much, and they're not spreading pressure that well. They find advantages through lanes. Nemesis said rookie mechanics are bad. That's ridiculous. That's a goddamn joke. Perk says the opposite. Opposite of what? Saying rookie mechanics are bad is really, I think, rookie mechanics are really, really insane. I doubt Nemesis says this. Faker decision making as the game progresses is really, really insane. Really, really insane. What do you think of Nemesis' performance in quarters? Honestly, how do you judge anyone in that team? You voted that IG will win versus Griffin? Yeah, I did. I was pretty convinced as well. He said Fakers are better. Well, the thing is, people are taking these Nemesis statements. Nemesis is not an analyst. He's not a person that is putting a lot of thoughts behind how you can interpret his statements. He doesn't put a lot of effort and time in this at all. This is what analysts do. They put a lot of effort into phrasing themselves in a way that gets understood by the majority in a very specific way. When a player says, oh, this guy is not that good mechanically, that could mean many things, right? That could be word choice, that could be a very specific thing, or just personal experience. When it comes to Doinby, when you look at his laning, he's not that great in terms of laning. And this is what, a lot of mid laners judge their opponent on. Jizuki was telling me that in solo queue, he was solo killing Doinby most of his games that he was playing. And it was not that insane, you know? Because lane-wise, Doinby is not one of the best in terms of decision making and knowledge, in terms of how the map is and the map state and how to use his TP and look for the most value out of his champion. That is something that is Doinby's strength, and this is the strength of some of the other players too. I think Caps and Faker are more well-rounded, while Rookie is heavily in terms of lane phase. I think Doinby is heavily in terms of map impact, and I think Caps and Faker are more balanced. They're in between. So if you put these mid laners on a spectrum, you have here you have laning and mechanics, and then you have here impact in terms of roaming and warding and such. Here is Doinby, here is Rookie, in between you have Caps and Faker, you know? In between you have Caps and Faker. But this is not a rating. This is not rating the players in a specific number, because I think that's a tough thing to do. But I think Rookie has impressed me the most, and Cap's performance has been really, really good. But my expectation of Faker coming into the semifinals is much, much higher. Do you think Perks is better mid or ADC bot? I think he's better bot because the average mid laner is better than the average AD. Mid lane is just a more difficult role, and if you have managed to be on top in mid, you're going to be even better on AD. Do you think that RNG would be in that FunPlus slot if it wasn't for Fnatic's one good day? Honestly, if RNG drafted better, then... The thing is, FPX maybe they win against RNG. RNG looked exactly the same in their group like they did in their league. Silly ass mistakes, silly ass ways of getting caught. Is Faker West mid laner out of Doinby Rookie Caps? No, it's not. I think Doinby is probably the worst. Perks last Worlds though played better than Caps. That's arguable. But I was not comparing Perks to other mid laners. I was comparing Perks mid to AD carry Perks. And I think AD carry Perks can reach new limits because of how good he was in mid. Doinby's game knowledge is what makes him world class, but the thing is, the game knowledge of his opposition now is also at a very, very high level. So I want to continue on the point about IG. They are very scattered. You don't see this. You never see Baolan Ning making these big plays, making these big dives, maybe making like map transitions where they swap. Let's say like, 10-minute swap, we get a Rift Herald, we get good tempo. This really happens. I think IG are very good at taking fights, very good at managing waves, and most of the things that you can do on an individual basis. You know, how you manage your waves, how you position in the lane phase. This is something that IG do super, super well. I think their bot lane can work on it, because I think Baolan and Jackalov get ganked way more than they need to. They died to many, many ganks, but then afterwards, mechanically, IG is just so insane. Like, team fights of IG is super next level. It is just so insane to watch IG team fight because of how good they are individually. Like, some of the shit that the Shy does, some of the shit the Rookie does, mostly the Shy. Like, the Shy is the one that fucking pops off most of the time. You know, it makes me, as a person that watched this game for 10 years and played this game for 10 years, get excited. That's super rare, you know? I don't get excited about a lot of shit, but when I see the Shy making moves, I'm like, Jesus. you know? I think IG is gonna take it because I think FPX cannot play in the way that they want to play against a stronger team. Ning had a good performance. Ning was good in quarterfinals that was overshadowed by how well the Shy did. I think Ning is getting better and better. Better and better in the tournament. So I'm hyped for Ning. I'm hyped for Ning. People are forgetting that Ning played super fucking good. I think the Shy is contender for one of the best of all time, even up with Faker. Yeah, for sure. What about Leon? Leon, you know, he should just lay on the bench. You know, lay on the bench so when the IG players come and need to sit in between the matches, the chairs are warm. That's important. That's his job. Ning is just better. Ning is better. The Shy, to me, is the best top laner of all time. No questions. No questions. For me, the Shy is the best top laner of all time. You can talk about Shy or Flame or Marin. No, the Shy is the most well-rounded, and in a world where, you know, think about this. It's 2019 and the difference between the best of the best is super, super tight. You know, it's super, super tight. You know, the discussion was always, you know, the discussion was always, oh, this player is close. Showmaker can be better than Faker. Faker can be better than Chovy. Chovy, blah, blah, blah. Caps can be better than this. There was like a clear top level for everything. But the Shy, you know, there is the Shy, and then every other top lane is like down here in comparison to the Shy. The Shy is just too insane. The Shy is just too impressive. Watching him play is nuts. It's really insane. And while Shy was good, Shy was really insane. But during his era of being a top laner, there were times where I thought that there were top laners that were better than him. You know? It was weird because there was a time where I thought Reaper was the best top laner. And this was during Shy's era. Or maybe I'm remembering this wrong. I would have to do more research. I can be very wrong with what I'm saying, but this is how I remember it. Rookie is also from Korea. Rookie has won the LCK. So would you explicitly target ban the Shy's champ pool? No. It's... Sometimes you can't. So to summarize, you know, I don't have that many thoughts about FPX and IG. I just think FPX had a free pass for a very long time. And I think against Fnatic specifically, Fnatic was not a team. They were not a team. There is... I'm talking about Shy, not the Shy. They are two different players. Two different players. We have to teach the kids. Let's teach the kids. This was supposed to be my FPX and IG discussion, but so this is Shy. He is regarded by many the best top laner to have ever lived. So he was playing during Reaper's time, you know? And it was during season 2 and season 3 where he was at his highest. Flame was also really good. But it's just, at the time, there was top laners that came and went, you know? There were top laners that came and came back and went the other way. Flame was really good. Shy. There was Reaper, there was Macnoon. I'm trying to remember the names of other players that were playing at the time. Jesus, I can't fucking remember. But for me, yeah, Darian was also at. We're talking about the Korean top laners. SKT Huni, Dairos Rumble. Darian honestly was the best top laner in the world at one point. Not even kidding. Like, look at this. We're gonna look at the results and then we're gonna find IEM. What is IEM? IEM World Championship. What? Not this one. What is this? IEM. Is this the one? What? Yo, where is... Were they Gambit or were they Moscow 5? They were Moscow 5. Moscow 5. Tournament results. Yeah, where is the tournament that they won? Can someone... Can you guys help me? Was this the one? This wasn't the one. There was a tournament where they beat both Azubu Blaze. Azubu Blaze. I'm trying to find it. Tournament results. Motherfucker. What was that tournament? Can't remember. IEM Katowice. 2013. Was this the one? There we go. Thank you. This is what I was looking for. In this tournament, Jesus, look at that prize pool. That's disgusting. That is... You know, I could make a bigger tournament than this at this point in time. This, to me, at this point in time, to me, Darian was the best top laner in the world. He was next level here. He had the shy vibe, even at this point in time. It was something else, really. Best jungler of all time. Show team curse members. Oh, wow. Oh, the Ocelote. Oh. What is Dandy? There's no Dandy here. I was like, Dandy didn't play at this point in time. Ambition in the mid lane, Azubu Blaze. Helios. Helios went to NA afterwards. That was fucked up. It was really fucked up. Oh, you mean the best jungler of all time? Best jungler of all time. Dandy's up there. Insec is up there. Diamond Prox is up there for sure. Dandy, yeah. Doing or Rookie? I think Rookie is better. So IG are gonna employ a strategy where, you know, if we look at the games, I think IG are going to send Ning into bottom. They're going to look to make sure that their bot lane doesn't end. Isolate Rookie and the Shy as much as possible. Reach mid game being even or ahead, and then look to win. And through this, I think they're going to be victorious. FPX, I feel like they're a bit overhyped because I feel like Fnatic didn't put up much resistance at all. They didn't put much resistance at all, and I think this is what makes FPX a bit overhyped. FPX did have a wonderful performance, and I think they are better in terms of how they pressure together. So this is something we have to pay attention to. But I've seen games between FPX and IG where they manage to pressure together, and for example, Rookie falls very far behind on his Talia, and it's still a victory for IG. So if we take a look, we can look at some Fun Plus Phoenix games. Fun Plus Phoenix Season 9. We'll look at their Summer Split. FPX versus IG. This was a very interesting series, in my opinion. So this was, this first game. This was, if I remember correctly, this was FPX victory. They were picking Caitlyn and Lux every single game. Yuumi was absolutely busted. This was the trade that you went for, and people were laughing at the fact that Baolan bought these Pui Ghosts. This game, this was FPX versus IG. Game I won. I think maybe this is this. So here in this particular game, IG did everything in their power to try to dive Gingun, and it just didn't work. They tried to dive him over and over. You can see his 64 CS, and FPX were isolated on bottom with a better matchup. So they had the Lux Kate, and they managed to push, and it was very positive for them. In this particular game, Rookie was the one playing the roaming role, which is interesting to highlight because, it is interesting to highlight because he, everyone thinks of Doinby as a roamer, but in this game he was stuck in his lane a lot and Rookie was the one roaming. But this ended up in a victory for FPX. It didn't matter that the Gingun was so far behind because FPX had the better composition, so they just needed to hold on. Right now the top lane meta is very different, so the Shy most likely will not play a game with Renekton because he doesn't want to interact with this jungler at all. We fast forward, we look at the Nash situation. It's very natural that FPX are outscaling in this game if IG don't get away with too much. So here the strength of FPX is the fact that they managed to win a game where Gingun was under heavy fire. Next game that comes up, Game 2. Game 2. Doinby Aatrox was a bit strange. FPX, the two remainder of the games, they tried to target Rookie super hard. Super hard. I am trying to remember exactly what happened in this game. Trying to remember that felt like what my memory tells me is that it didn't really work out for them when they were trying to target Rookie. And IG's recipe of just playing into bottom actually worked. Ning super far ahead with 2 kills. Varostam, super strong lane. Varostam maybe will be super contested in these series. How are Rookie's roams? They are good. They are good. They are really good. And after the bottom lane advantage, IG is just too far ahead to win. This is all very, very vague, I realize that. This game was also very interesting because once again, FPX tried the same approach. They have the Nautilus and Tamvaros bot lane matchup. Now the Shy is playing a matchup where he's happy to be isolated. Vladimir into GP and FPX keep ganking Rookie this game. Like they keep ganking him. He fucking goes 0-3 or something this game. So here is 0-2 already. We missed it. Doesn't matter. 0-3. He keeps dying. Like he's 0-3. 0-3. But the Shy being isolated, not being played for, not demanding any jungle attention. Ning pathing into bottom. This is what made them win. Rookie didn't get any attention. He's fucking 1-4 now. He's 1-4 and it just ended up not mattering because Doinb couldn't translate. I think the big thing is why I think Rise is important for Doinb is that with Rise he can translate advantages into victories. On all of the other champions he can still play the same way, but Rise is very specific because it scales so freaking well. You can't see items. We can't see items like you. This is... I don't block items. I don't know what you're talking about. Nautilus AP mid, yeah, he's playing AP Nautilus mid. This is not gonna... Like, Nautilus AP mid being fed is not gonna win you the game, right? So I think, to summarize the IG FPX matchup, I think it will come down to... I think IG are going to continue with the same pattern. They're going to send... play away from Rookie and the Shy, isolate their matchups because 1v1 they will naturally beat Gimgoon and Doinb. And then Ning is going to look to find advantages onto bottom, and if they can reach a point in the game where they pull attention to the Shy or Rookie and they manage to find a lead on bot, I think IG will end up being better. And while these games were such a long time ago, the last time they faced each other, I think they still have some bearing because the teams are still very similar to this day. And I think the series provides us with a good contrast because this is the only series that FPX lost in the whole season. This is what denied them the perfect season. And this was at a time where people were considering IG to be weaker, which is understandable because they were weaker. But here they managed to get away with a very specific way of playing the game, with drafting strong bottom, playing into bottom, isolating Rookie and the Shy, and letting them lane against their counterparts. Because if these two people don't get jungle attention, they're going to be weaker. How much advantage do you give to draft victories in these semis? I think G2 had some good drafts, yeah. G2 had some good drafts, but good preparation on top lane. Game 2 draft was pretty poor with Renekton, Jace, Elise. So this was why Damwon got the victory, I believe. FPX against Fnatic, I think was a really, really insane... Holy, Attila! Oh, que paso, Attila! Eres el puto amo. Thank you, Attila. What are you up to, brother? You streaming? Oh, it's 1,000 viewers, Attila. You're getting rich, man. You should stream the whole night, man. You should make use of that money. Thank you, brother. I was just chilling, streaming some. Oh, you're just chilling. 1,000 people watching, just chilling, huh? It's chilling. It's good to hear from you, Attila. It's been a while. All the best to you, brother. Thank you so much. So what were we talking about? We're talking about drafts. Which cities were won in draft? So quarterfinals. Quarterfinals were honestly FPX, good preparation against Fnatic. I think that's a big draft win. SKT versus Splice was not a draft win at all. That was a draft loss for SKT, but they won anyway. That was some shitty drafts. Shitty drafts. And what was the last one? IG versus Griffin. Honestly, Griffin didn't understand that they needed to abandon Sword. They just needed to tell the Sword to go fuck himself and let Chovy play the game. Let Chovy play the game, draft in a way that is more in emphasis of what Chovy can and cannot do. Give him some power. You think Scanner was bad? Yeah, Scanner was bad. I think they just needed to fucking play as 4. Fuck off, Sword. True but rude. Yeah, who cares? It seems like the story is that Sword is not the nicest person. Griffin. We have bigger enters in draft than winners in draft, honestly, in this quarterfinals. So to summarize my IG FPX thoughts. I think with how IG have performed in this tournament, I think they look like the favorite because of the form of Rookie and the Shy. And FPX look very glorified here because of their performance to Fnatic. So their performance against Fnatic is very inflated because of how bad Fnatic played. Fnatic was not a team. They were a problem. Bala and Jackie Love Ning coin flip. I think that's too harsh as well. You don't beat Griffin 3-1 if you coin flip. It's just... Baolan was very solid, didn't do too many mistakes. So Jackie Love, I can agree, his coin flip. Ning is slowly improving. Ning had one super bad game in this tournament, but the rest were pretty decent. So I think we need to give credit where credit is due. Fnatic was definitely not a team. Yeah, they were not. They were quite awful, honestly. Predictions for semis: 3-1 IG, 3-1 G2. Why ever play instead of Mata? What is wrong with Mata? I think they're doubting Mata's individual skill at this point in time. He seems to play a lot of very sloppy, and he's not his former self. I think Gimgund is not performing good. It's hard to play against IG due to solo lanes. I think in terms of laning, IG have the best solo laners in the world, yes. Rookie lane phase is really, really nasty. And the Shy lane phase is even nastier. But right now, Rookie and the Shy are playing without a team in their lanes. I think that's the biggest weakness of IG, is that they are so scattered in the way they play. There's very little team play involved in how they interact with each other. When they try to dive and get leads, it looked kind of bad. So I think they need to take the approach where they would Griffin with Doran beat IG? Maybe, I don't know. Who is better, Tarzan or Klid? It's hard to judge junglers like that. It's very difficult to judge junglers like that, because junglers can only do as much as the team allows them to. And I think Klid is in a position where he's not allowed to do as much as other junglers. It's tricky because G2 is a team that allows your jungler to do many different things in terms of how they draft and how they play. And that's why Jankos most of the time falls under the most scrutiny, because when you're jungling and your team has a lot of variance, that is when your role becomes the hardest out of any role. If you're playing, for example, with Tian, he's passing through mid lane most of the time, pressuring through mid lane. They are playing with the same pattern. With G2, they're playing with different patterns. And I think most of the time he's trusting his teammates to make the right calls in terms of what he needs to play for. And that's why it's so crazy, because when Jankos managed to play those perfect games, like the Gragas game or the first Elise game against Griffin, it looks so freaking impressive because there's so much possibility. And when a jungler that has so much possibility makes all the right choices, it becomes super crazy to look at. While Klid's role within SKT most of the time is more of a defensive role and catching people when they're trying to get dives, managing to farm, managing to stay up, finding situations where he doesn't get counter jungled, doesn't get invaded on, make sure that dives don't happen. He's not that big of an aggressor as a player. And then team fighting wise, his Lee Sin and his Gragas are beautiful. His team fighting is super strong. So this is what Klid brings to the table. So it's very hard to judge junglers, because Tarzan had performances in group stage that devoured the enemy jungler. Ate them alive. Invasions after invasions, and just dive after dive. And how do you compare a jungler like Tarzan to a jungler like Klid? They are given complete different responsibilities and complete different possibilities within their team. So how do you compare the two? Usually the junglers that get regarded the highest are the junglers that have teams with a lot of variance that manage to accomplish so much. That's why when you look at IG's junglers, that's why they get rated so cruelly, because when you have a lane like the Shy, Rookie, and also Jakilov, and you manage to accomplish so little, that is when, it's very, very tough, And sure, you can't judge Tarzan on that game against IG. Sure, that series was hard to judge because Sword was completely outmatched, But even that game, I can't remember the IG Griffin series too well. Kuma is the best coach in the world. I'm not sure. Historically, yes. Ning is really good mechanically. Do you think that if one IG solo lane have bad day, they still can make it out? It will be difficult. Yeah, for sure. A dog could jungle for IG. That's probably the team that it rings the most true for, because Lian and Ning in their first games, they are not doing anything. It was better for them to do nothing, but they managed to die and end because they fuck up play. Can you open the window, please? Are you serious? Okay. I'll open the window. Daman coach is also historically really insane. No problem. I think the IG recipe is going to work against a team like FPX. The IG recipe is, it's crazy, because if you had IG together with a jungler that understands them, they look like the best team in the world. And that's why they won the World Championship last year, because Ning and Rookie 2v2 mid was really, really insane. Perks is a better player than Caps, do you agree? Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, it's close. It's pretty close. Do you think SKT can beat G2? Oh, it depends on how, if G2, like, if SKT find a way to draft where they have decent lanes and they can transition into a mid game where they have strong team fights, I think SKT can win. They have very clear strengths, but they have very clear weaknesses too. And I think G2 as a team can adapt better in a best of 5 in preparation for a different team, because G2 can play many different styles. So that's why I think G2 is favored. SKT, I don't think they can make too many changes, but it's important to highlight that SK Telecom haven't been forced to show so much. Their group was, as crazy as it might seem, it was relatively breezy for them. The wins against RNG were practically given to them, and against Splice they didn't need to show much. So maybe they've been hiding this entire time, but it just doesn't. SKT has never been a team that hides anything. Effort is definitely the weakest player on SKT, but weak link might be harsh. People overhype Faker so much this year. Well, I hyped Faker a lot because I think his performance in his regional league in LCK was really, really insane. And in this tournament, he's not been playing that good, so he didn't fulfill my expectation. Faker needs to do more, and way more. He has not been too impressive. I agree with this notion. Do you personally think IG look better with Ning? Way better. They have a 5th player. It helps. Do you think Humanoid played better than Faker in quarters? No. Will you re-upload the SKT analysis games that came out of 1 second video on YouTube? There was a re-upload of that particular game. Well, okay. I think that summarizes FPX, IG, and my thoughts surrounding the series. Also, the SKT versus G2. Are you in game, Elena? Oh shit! You in game? Yeah. Okay. The game in the TF game was also far from perfect. Like, Faker has had some moments in this tournament, but I wouldn't rate him as the #1 player for sure. I think. Do you think Haro can play this tournament? No, Kled is playing too good. G2 won against SKT at MSI when Mata played. It's gonna be different now that Effort's playing. Yeah, it's gonna be worse for SKT. How do you think the mid matchup goes between G2 and SKT? I think it's relatively even. It's relatively even. I think 2v2 mid is going to be super exciting, because I think both G2 and SKT have the capacity to be the strongest 2v2 mids we've ever seen. I think when Mata was in his better form with SKT, I think SKT looked a lot cleaner than they do today. I think SKT struggled to find the way to play the game, and I think SKT is like SKT struggle to be proactive. I think Mata does a great deal. This is just speculation. I think Mata did a great deal in terms of making sure there was cleanliness and understanding of how you want to play the game. And I think that's definitely missing for SKT right now. They're not as clean as they used to be in the past, but maybe that's the nature of the meta. So maybe, I'm not saying Mata should play, because Mata is definitely worth an effort, but to compare the two versions of SKT, I think there was a point in time where SKT looked better. I think even in the regional league they looked better than they did at the World Championship. I think... what do you think about draft option for both teams? I think G2 has a heavy advantage, because they can play much in many different ways. SKT can seemingly only play one way. IG and FPX, I think FPX have a slight draft advantage, but I think IG has a heavy player advantage. And I think that outweighs. The reason I think they have a draft advantage is because IG need to secure a better bot lane matchup, and they need to put the Shy and Rookie on champions that are good alone and scale super well. Tree of Wisdom, you see, do you believe in talent? I believe in talent. But I think talent comes a lot from mindset and how long you've kept a mindset. So talent is, for example, if you come across a player that has based off of his personality, learned about a game, and based off of his circumstances, play the game, put so many hours into the game because he loves the game, and then is naturally good because his instinct is to get better, his interest is to get better. I think that's a version of talent. And I think most of the time that's where it comes from. For example, Messi. Like, I imagine Messi, he fucking loves football so much. He was born with a football in his hands, and then he just played football this entire time, and it just seems, the story of Messi seems like he just enjoys playing football so freaking much. He loves it more than anything. This is where he's at peace, and his goal is to get better and better because that's how he finds peace. And a person that is starting from there has a much easier time to get better. And I think this is where I would consider talent. Messi is ultra instinct, but that instinct comes from all of the hours and hours and hours he has put into his mastery. And then you have the other side of the spectrum. But I think Ronaldo is more of a person that just hard work, hard work. That's also a version of talent, because not a lot of people have it in them to give 150% into something, IG and FPX will definitely be very explosive around bottom and mid lane. This is where IG will look to defend, and if they manage to come out even on bottom side, I think IG will win the games. Talent in League I view it mostly as mechanics, but that's the thing. Intelligence is a talent as well, inherently. Like, how smart you are helps. Intelligence is a form of talent in my eyes. How smart you are, how IQ you have, what you've been exposed to your entire life, your genetics, that's talent, right? No matter how, like, if a player that is, most of the players that I've worked with, the better they are, usually the smarter they are. You can hear it in the way they think about things. You can hear how they talk about things, how they approach things, how they understand and process information. So intelligence, you know, sure, it is definitely a thing, you know. Intelligence is definitely like a talent. Mechanics can be taught and trained. Talent, I think, is things that can't be taught or trained. And talent, when I think, is when you've grown up in an environment that has pushed you into a mindset that makes it easy for you to learn. That's talent. And when it comes to, the question is like, oh, you don't want it enough. This is something that we hear often. You don't want it enough, which can be true. There's some people inherently, psychologically, personality-wise, just want it more. They are people that are smarter, and there is definitely something that is called talent. So hard work is just putting in the time, but the efficiency of your time is a part of talent, right? It's like, how efficient are you with your time? So basically, like if I'm working with a genius that has never played the game before, it's not like he's going to pick the game up and just become the best instantly. But he's going to be able to process what I tell him in terms with the game, right? He's going to be able to process it, understand it, and then apply it. And then afterwards, process information better. Because this game, League of Legends, is very much so about how you process information. A lot of things in life is about how you process information. And a talented person is going to understand how you process information within the league sense better than others. That's just the case, and that is what is the biggest difference maker between players and other players. Is Wunder genius or Kobe? Wunder is very smart, very smart. Kobe is also super smart. At the highest level of anything, you're going to find smart people. That's just a fact. The best players in football, or any sport for that matter, you're going to, listening to them, you hear, you understand, wow, they are in touch with the world, Then there's some sports, sure, where you have like freaks of nature, freaks of nature that are just so physically strong and physically built that they are better than others. Even actors, yeah. Like I was just listening to Edward Norton, the man who was in Fight Club, American History X, and a bunch of other films. Very famous actor, very, very good actor. I was listening to his podcast with Joe Rogan. Very intelligent, has a lot of good things to say, and just has a very good demeanor. And then, there's the other side of the spectrum, the people that, while intelligence can be a big driving force behind how good, intelligence can be a good indicator of success, but also, your physical capabilities in traditional sports is super important. Think about Michael Jordan versus LeBron. LeBron is, he's like a freak of nature, except his hair is not really working so well with him. And Michael Jordan was just ahead of his time, I think. Michael Jordan reminds me of like a Maradona or like a Pele, you know? It's crazy. It's weird as well, you know, the most successful people in mixed martial arts are either, you know, are the ones that have insane self-confidence and a level of fight IQ that is just, you know, for example, John Jones. So he does some dumb shit, you know, but I think in such a situation where you're competing in something that potentially can endanger your life, when you it is good to be crazy. It is super good to be crazy somewhat, you know? It's good to be wired in some specific ways, you know? You need to have a self-confidence that is higher than most, you know? You need to have arrogance. Mike Tyson was like that too, you know? Mike Tyson at an early age was getting fucking hypnotized. Mike Tyson was getting hypnotized into becoming a fucking killing machine. This is what his coach does. But for example, John Jones, the amount of dumb shit he's done, you know, with his fucking picograms and his cocaine busts and driving his car into people. Like, he has children and he has a wife, you know. But I don't think he would be as successful if it wasn't for this craziness. But it's also important to note that a lot of head trauma can cause craziness, you know. That's probably the dumbest way of saying that, but you get my point, you know. And John Jones, McGregor as well. McGregor's success, you know, right now he's a bit of a troll, but I think McGregor is more of an example where he got consumed by his own success, because there was a lot of things that fell perfectly for McGregor. I don't think McGregor can be... Sure, league players can be crazy, of course. I didn't nullify the fact. I just think when we are looking at what people like, what kind of people are successful, it's a very interesting topic. Like, for example, Usain Bolt. What a freak of nature. This is crazy. Look how long his legs are. He's super fast. Like, it's insane how perfectly built he is for his job, you know. John Jones as well, you know, his body is just like, the way it's built for his weight class is just crazy. What about smart people like Magnus Carlsen? Well, we discuss smart people, right? Intelligence. It's a very good indication for success. Cristiano Ronaldo too. I haven't done a lot of research on Cristiano Ronaldo, but I can imagine this man is very intelligent. Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Mike Tyson is an amazing example. I don't think Conor McGregor is that great of an example, because I think a lot of things went right for him, you know? Like, him knocking out Jose Aldo is crazy. Federer, yeah. Djokovic. Carlsen is the most strategic mind since he's #1 chess 10 years. Well, I don't know. Maybe they are smarter people in other fields of life. Maybe in physics or math. Will you upload this preview to YouTube today? Yeah, I will. Michael Phelps as well. There's it's like, I feel like intelligence, hard work, and physical capabilities. I think that's where, you know, where everything meets, you know, where success meets. And when you have someone like John Jones, you know, John Jones, intelligent, but does a lot of dumb shit that we can agree with, but intelligent. The way he thinks about fights is next level. You know, When he steps into the ring, he just wants to win. And he uses he pushes every limit of the rule book. Every limit of the rule book he pushes. You can talk about steroids use, whatever, sure. This is all, I hate this part. But in terms of his fight IQ and how he prepares for enemies, how it looks like from first time they fight and then the second time you fight, you know, the way he marks his enemies, the way he kicks your knee, because this is something that, you know, not a lot of people want to use because they find it disgraceful, because it can cause a lot of damage. But his fight IQ is next level, his work ethic is super good, and he understands that this craziness is a part of his success somehow. And then he's built fucking like a freak, you know? He's built like a freak. Fucking Armstrong as well, you know, it's a joke that he got stripped for all of these medals. It's a joke, because everyone else was doping as well. Everyone else was doping as well, but they were using him as an example. Everyone else in this competition that was top 20 was in his fucking biking tournaments. Yeah, Floyd Mayweather also another great example. Surrounded by, you know, his fight IQ is insane. Insane. Fight IQ is insane. You watch this guy fight, it's crazy. Like if Floyd Mayweather has 3 wives, that's crazy. It's really troll. Floyd Mayweather is really insane. Like there's a long list of crazy good athletes. And do league players cheat too? I think there's some pill usage. Mayweather is so smart when he's fighting. Yeah, it's good to define that, because sometimes, you know, there was some jokes about him reading books and shit. Nemesis Season 9 World Champion. Is there a rule book with taking stuff like Adderall for a league game? No, nothing at all. Which I think is a joke. What do you think are Europe's worst roles? Like which roles is the least stack in the individual skill compared to Korea and China? No role, honestly. We have good top laners here. We have Cabochard, Wunder, Alfari. Really high class top laners. Jungle. Yeah, jungle is the one. Yeah, jungle is definitely the one. Jungle. 100%. Jungle. The junglers in Korea and China are just super good. How much would Adderall really help? Yeah, of course it would. Roy Jones Jr. was also like, Jesus Christ. Crazy. The story of Roy Jones Jr. is a very exciting one. Very cool. Roy Jones Jr. Happy that he gets mentioned. Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder is also an interesting one, but it's hard to put them amongst the monsters. Like we're talking about the monsters, right? Talking about the Tysons. We're talking about the motherfucking Usain Bolts and the Michael Phelps and the Ronaldos and the Michael Jordans. Do you watch the games live or reviewing them blind later? I'm reviewing them blind later. Parks is very intelligent. Kollar du på Allsvenskan imorgon? Nej, fan eller. I think it's very evident how much better Caps has gotten as a player being on G2, and you have to acknowledge the fact that he went to G2, which is a very good choice, and on top of that, he's also a very, very good player. Perks better than Ronaldinho. Yeah, Krabs hasn't showed up at all. Do you own Vitality? Does it look like I own Vitality? That's yeah, funny, man. Okay, guys. I'm done streaming for today. Tomorrow's a big day. We got some games. I'm going to upload this on YouTube. Good luck. Good luck filtering through this shit. All the best to you. 3-1 G2, 3-1 IG. So, with my experience of Adderall, not from using it, yeah, but from interacting with, like, learning about it. Adderall makes you very emotionally unavailable, which is good for some players that struggle with like emotions during games. It also makes you communicate a lot worse. You can see, when people that do Adderall, their lips become very dry. Sometimes I've seen teams that win championships and win games, they don't react. They're like, they won the world championship and they're like this. They don't know how to react, They don't know how to react. And Klid is not a jungler that crushes other junglers. People need to understand this. Klid is not a jungler that crushes other junglers. It's like sometimes, yeah, full team that has no reaction like this. Like, sure, it's fine if players don't have reaction, but sometimes you have to question it, They're like licking their lips like this. You get like dry lips when you do Adderall, And most of the time, people that take Adderall, they struggle to communicate, and you tunnel vision. Adderall gives you tunnel vision. Adderall is meth. Adderall is fucking meth. As PlayStation example, no way. You can figure that out by yourself. Just fucking do some research, and you'll see it all over the place. People playing like this. You see their player cams? They're doing this. And they tunnel vision like fuck, They tunnel vision. So it's kind of, I don't know. Adderall is kind of a tricky question, but I think in League, it can get dangerous because you might be mechanically good. Like AD carries maybe can take Adderall, AD carries take Adderall and maybe you perform better. It's not forbidden, so what's the problem? Yeah, sure. The only reason it's not forbidden is because it's too fucking expensive to test, not because of anything else. But I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure if anyone did Adderall. So it doesn't help with mechanics is not true. You just you don't understand what mechanics are. Mechanics are your mental preparation, your reaction time, and Adderall in some cases can help this, but it gives you an over focus on some specific things, and I think like you'll die to every gank if you're on Adderall. You die to anything. You play without minimap. You play without voice comms. But Adderall has an effect that is different from person to person. For some people, they can play a lot worse. For some people, they can play worse. Better. So it's... I wouldn't say if we are playing against a team that has... But the thing is, focusing is not black and white. This is Benja. Focusing comes in levels. You cannot... you cannot... I just laugh because of... imagine Sneaky playing worse KW. Sorry. Sorry, Sneaky. Do you know who's using it? I have an idea. No, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's using it. I'm just having fun. All the best to all of you. I'm gonna call it now. Catch the games live tomorrow. Other competitive video games, you've seen this? I think like Adderall could be super good for shooter games. Like Call of Duty, you play Call of Duty, on Adderall. I think that's the fucking Adderall sport right there, man. You play Fortnite on Adderall, Jesus. You're fucking building shit and shooting. Fucking... You just fucking shoot people. It's like, imagine, you know, I'm playing CSGO. I don't need to fucking say anything. Like, sure, I can say, hey guys, they're coming B, I hear steps, I'm predicting, blah, 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 blah. But there are like shot callers in CSGO. There are people that make decisions. They understand the information, they make decisions. And then it's like, you know, then you have like the guy that is the gunshot warrior. He's the gunshot warrior. And you see his cam. His cam, it never talks. The only reason the guy is on the side with him is because the other guy needs to communicate to the team. The other guy, he's the gunshot warrior, you know? He's the guy top fragging. But I don't know. This is also, I'm just having fun. I have no idea. This is all speculation. It just seems like these shooting games, they are very mechanically intense. While sure, you know, Astralis is not a team that was winning because they were so mechanically good. They were winning because of their team play. I understand that there is a lot of depth to CSGO, and I don't want to, you know, actually, what you do is one guy, the shot caller, he takes DMT. Then you have one guy taking shrooms, and then you just have 3 guys on Ritalin and Adderall, just fucking shooting. I urgently need churros. Thank you so much. Make some noise. Make some noise. Thanks so much. So again. You have a guy, one guy is just fucking hallucinating. He just sees space. You know, he sees space and time. He doesn't even have his hands on the keyboard and mouse. And we have 3 guys, and they're just shooting. Thanks for the advice. Gonna get some shrooms. No. We're just having fun. Come on, man. Don't take anything I'm saying the last 5 minutes seriously. Actually, don't take anything that I'm saying is... You're not really feeling the subject. This is a fun subject. Danish Viking, make some noise. I need churros now, churros too now. You guys making me so fucking hungry. Do we have food, Elena? Are we playing? Are you playing? Okay. I'm so fucking hungry. Which drugs would you give to each Vitality member? Oh, no. We're not going down this line. Thank you. Subscribe for 2 months. Oh, bless you, Danish Viking. I can't get you churros, but you can get some Yamato suit-ups.
I made so much food already again?
Yeah, I ate so little.
What do you mean? You ate like 3 plates.
What 3 plates? What's the advantage of having one guy on shrooms? Yeah, but I need to eat. You're still doing semifinals preview? I'm going to upload it now on the tube.